Hello and welcome back. So this video is going to be all about project panning, my experience, and some tips that I have. I have been project panning actually for 3 years. I started October 3 years ago, and I just discovered the panning community on YouTube, and I just started doing my own project pans. I've only had my YouTube channel since the beginning of this year, and I've had a makeup Instagram for 2 years. So the first year I just did it on my own. I just focused on different things and tried to finish things up. And then for a year I showed my progress on Instagram, and now for another year also on YouTube. And the very interesting thing about it for me was that before I discovered the Project Pan community, I had been watching YouTube videos for I think at least 5 or 6 years at that point. So I had slowly accumulated makeup, and I loved my makeup and I treasured it, and I was actually afraid to use things up because then I would have to buy it again. So I had 13 foundations and I would alternate through them. I was so afraid one would run out. So I'd use one, use one, use one. And not only that, I was actually very afraid of using up high-end products. So products that I did run out of on the quicker side, such as concealers and powders and such, on the daily I would use drugstore items and finish those up, but I was afraid of finishing my high-end products. It was kind of silly once I had this realization and I discovered the YouTube community of project panning. And also before that, I did not really ever declutter my makeup. And I had a realization with that one day where I used a liquid highlighter on my face, and I had used it before and it just started burning my skin. And I thought, that's weird. Why is it doing that? And then I had the realization that that cream product was 5 years old, which probably was not good for me to be using. And I have since learned my lesson, and I don't want to keep things around for that long, especially a liquid or cream product that will go bad faster than a powder product. So anyway, that's how long I've been project panning. And basically one of the things that I have learned is that items go bad. I learned that the hard way with that highlighter, and that's why I want to focus on using things up. But I just also realized that with how much makeup I have, there is just no way I can use up all the eyeshadows and the lip products and things like that. And that's just, it is what it is. I've decided I'm okay with that. It is what it is. It's fun. I like to have the color variety, but with things like concealers and powders and foundations, I don't want to have a ton of those lying around that I can't finish up in a reasonable amount of time, because those products, the liquid ones in particular, will go bad. Now, something with project panning that I think has been a little bit bad for me is that I'm finishing up items on a regular basis. And when I finish something, sometimes I think, oh, I can go buy more makeup. I just finished 3 makeup items last month. And that is not a good way of thinking. And I really need to work on that. So a lot of people project pan and also do no buys and low buys. And I've been trying to stick more to a low buy, but I haven't done a no buy for more than 1 month at a time. But something that I have learned, which I will say is my first tip, is that to have a successful project pan, it actually is easier if you're not buying a whole lot of stuff at once. So I don't think you have to be on a no buy to be a project panner. I just don't believe that. I think you can, or you can't. You can do whatever you want. But I think if you're buying maybe a couple items a month, then that's fine. But I think if you're buying 10 to 15 items a month or more, I mean, I've done this, it's really hard to focus on the things you're panning because you want to try out the new products, or at least I do. I don't like buying something new and then not using it because I want to use it right away, because if I don't like it, I do want to take the opportunity to return it when I can. So yeah, it helps to at least reduce the amount that you're buying. However, like I mentioned, for me at times I tend to buy more because sometimes, oh, I'm like, oh, I finished all this stuff. So that's not good. That's something I personally need to work on. Next tip that I have is actually just about where you put those items. So you've picked out your items you're gonna project pan. It helps to put them right in front of you. If you have, I guess everybody's makeup setup is different. I have a vanity, and then I also have one of those IKEA drawer units over here. The things that I keep in there are not things I reach for on a daily basis. Those are things I'm rotating through, that my highlighters and all that kind of stuff that on a daily basis I will forget to use unless I pull them out, put them on my vanity. So what I like to do is everything I'm panning sits on my vanity in some way or another. And then I have a few other things that I kind of rotate my makeup basket style to go along with those items. So make them visible. That really, really helps. My second actual tip is to pick the items realistically. If you have like 5 items of the same category in one project, obviously that will make it difficult. So it helps to diversify a little bit, like a foundation, a concealer, or a whatever. But also be realistic. If you are someone who does not ever wear liquid highlighters, that may be harder to pan, but it may force you to use it if you put it in your project. So think about it realistically, think about your makeup usage. It may help you to use products you don't normally use, or it may be difficult. So it kind of depends. The next tip is about decluttering, and people think very differently about decluttering, especially in the project pan community. Some people don't declutter at all, and others declutter a lot, and I fall somewhere in the middle. In the past, I used to never declutter. I was so attached to my makeup, I did not want to get rid of it. And then after that experience I mentioned with the product that irritated my skin, I did a huge declutter of a lot of very old items. And I am very glad that I did that. But then I kind of was so in the process of getting rid of things that there were a few newer things that I also got rid of that I later regretted. So now I'm very cautious about it. I only get rid of something if I am 100% sure I won't miss it. So it's harder for me to declutter now than it was a year and a half ago when I was in the get rid of everything stage. So it really depends per person, but I think if there is something that you are working on that you really, really hate, no matter what you do, you don't enjoy it, it doesn't match your skin tone or whatever it may be, I say to get rid of it and work on something else, because project panning is supposed to be fun. The point is to use up your makeup and get your money's worth, but if you really hate that item, it's not fun, and makeup is supposed to be fun. So I say if you truly hate it, get rid of it. If it's workable, like a foundation is slightly off, but if you can mix it with another foundation, then that's totally fine. I do that all the time. But if I really hate something, I will get rid of it. My next tip is basically about when you use your project pan items. If you on a weekly basis go to a job or school or something like that, where you just want to get ready quick and you just want to look put together, which is what I do, that is when I project pan those. And it actually makes getting ready faster for me because I know what bronzer, what foundation, whatever I'm going to use, and it just makes it easier. But on a day off, when I'm just trying to have more fun, do a more fun look, or I'm going to dinner or something like that, I want to use whatever makeup I have. So on those days, I will use a couple project pan items, but not all of the things that I'm project panning, and change it up a little bit more. Because makeup is fun and I just want to have fun. And number 2 is that I don't want all the other things to go bad. It also depends how much makeup you have. If you only have 2 foundations, then that's not a problem. I own 6 foundations right now, so if I am panning one and I don't use the other ones at all, it would be months until I got to those, and I don't want to do that either. So it really depends on how much makeup you have and how you want to use it, and how much makeup you wear on a daily basis. Or some people only wear makeup 3 or 4 days a week. I usually wear makeup 6 days a week, so that does also help. If you wear makeup more often, you will use up products faster. Simple math. The last thing I want to talk about is pan that palette, and actually this is the first year I'm doing a pan that palette all year. Last year I did it for 4 months, and then I gave up on that palette. And I approached it in the wrong way. And I think that's why this year I'm not sick of the palette I'm panning, which is the Tartelette in Bloom. I'm still really enjoying using it. So what I have been doing with that is, now I'm not trying to finish all the eyeshadows or anything like that. I'm not that hardcore with Pan That palette. I'm really not. But I haven't panned on a lot of eyeshadows in that palette. And what I've been doing is I picked a very, very basic, simple palette that can go with my other palettes, because I do not want all my other eyeshadow palettes to just sit there unused. So I picked very simple shades like brow bone highlights, setting shades. I have dark browns in that palette. I've been using those to fill in my eyebrows and on the lower lash line, because I basically do a dark brown on the lower lash line, whether I'm doing a colorful or neutral look. That's just how I like to do my makeup. And so it's perfect to have that palette to reach for all those basic things. And there's also some really simple neutral transition shades in there. And then every other color I'm using on a daily basis, like lid shades and whatever. If I'm doing a more colorful crease, I reach for other palettes. And that has worked out really, really well. I think that I did last year that I think I failed at Pan That palette. I mean, I did use it for 4 months and I did hit pan on 7 shades, and that was the Lorac Pro 2 palette. And I think the reason that I got so sick of it after the 4 months was because I was mostly using that eyeshadow palette every single day for the entire look. And for me personally, that doesn't work. I know a lot of people do that, but I got bored with that. Eyeshadow is the fun part of my makeup. That's when I really jazz it up, you know. Something like a bronzer, I can use the same bronzer every day. I don't really care, but eyeshadow is where I really like to spice it up. So picking a really basic palette like I did this year that I can use in addition to other palettes, get more colorful looks or do full-on neutral looks, that has worked out really well. So I am very happy about that, and I am happy with my progress on Pan That palette this year. So for as far as where project panning is going next, I guess, the only thing that, so I mentioned in this video that sometimes project panning has actually made me shop more because I'm finishing items. So that is not a good thing. So for the future, I am still going to project pan, but I'm trying to focus a little less on how many items I use up and focus more on spending less on new makeup, because I have a lot and I don't want it all to go bad and expire. As I've mentioned, I've had that happen already, and it will continue to. It just will. I have a large collection, and that's gonna happen, sadly. So I am trying to focus less on using up items. I'm still going to do that, but I don't want to be as focused on that. I want to focus more on the spending less. So right now I am doing no buy November. So far it's going well. I'm very happy about that. And I'm not going to do a total no buy. No, a lot of people are doing a total no buy for next year, and that is very awesome. I am going to do something a little bit different. One thing is I've decided not to buy any eyeshadow. That's it. I'm done buying eyeshadow. Right now, I actually decluttered a few palettes lately, which was very, very difficult to do. I have 38 eyeshadow palettes, and that's a lot. And I bought a lot of palettes this year. That was because I realized most of my palettes at the beginning of the year were neutral palettes. And I really got into colorful eyeshadow this year, and I truly did not have many colorful eyeshadows. My collection was so redundant, and it still is, because I do still have a lot of those neutral palettes, and a lot of them I can't bear to get rid of them, but I have so many browns, I have so many golds, it's kind of ridiculous, but now I at least have a wide variety of colorful shades as well. I am not buying any more eyeshadow for a while. When, I don't know, but I want to go as long as possible because I feel like I have every color that I could do any look with. The other areas of a problem for me are highlighters and lipsticks. I have 50 something lipsticks, and I've only finished 2 lipsticks this whole year. So I really want to, I don't know that I can totally not buy any lipstick for like 2 years. I don't know that I can do that, but the lipsticks will go bad. They're cream products. So I am going to try to absolutely minimize buying lipsticks. And I have decided that with the number that I have right now, I really like all the lipsticks I have right now. I did declutter a few lately, but if I want to buy new lipsticks, I need to at least declutter a few or actually finish one up. So I do not want my lipstick numbers to go higher than they are right now. So, and decluttering them will be hard because I really like the ones that I have. So yeah, that is my thought on lipsticks. And then the other one is highlighters. There is one highlighter right now that is on my wish list. When No Buy November ends, I do want to repurchase a highlighter that I actually finished in last year, 2017, and that is Hourglass Luminous Light. I have not found another highlighter that is exactly like that one, and I even have this palette here by Hourglass, and I thought that one of these shades would be similar to Luminous Light. I thought this middle one would be, oh boy, you can't see it, but it's a simple, glowy, natural highlighter, but it's not. It's just not the same as that one. I loved it. I used the whole thing up, so obviously I really loved it. So I do want to repurchase that. However, all my other highlighters are, other than that Hourglass palette, are all intense, woo, kabam, shining face. And I just don't need more of those. I love them. I love a very highlighted look, but the Hourglass ones are totally different than the rest of my collection. The rest of my collection is bam, in your face, intense highlighters, and I just don't need more of those. I have champagnes, I have colorful ones, I've got pinks. I don't need to buy any more highlighters. So I do want to repurchase Luminous Light, but then no more. Now for the rest of my collection, I am planning on not going to do a no buy. I'm not going to do like an all replacements no buy, which is what a lot of people are doing, which is amazing. However, I've decided that instead of that, I have set a max number for each category. So if I want to buy a new foundation, I have to use up a foundation. So I can't get more than what I have. Concealers, I have 3 concealers. If I want to buy a concealer, I have to finish up a concealer. Setting sprays, I have too many right now, so I need to finish up, I think, at least 2 or 3 before I buy another one. But yeah, those items that I only have a few of, it's fine. I don't really care if I have 5 or 6 foundations because I do go through that many in one year. So anyway, that is my plan on the low buy front slash I don't need any more eyeshadow front. So yeah, this video is kind of all over the place. I talked about a wide variety of things, all kind of related to project panning. Hopefully it made sense. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts down below and have a great day.